Okay, I just got an alert that we're live. Am I taking next week off?
Yeah. Back on the 18th.
Okay. So this is kind of functioning. Like hair everywhere. All right, wonderful. Looks like we have a few people tuning in here. Welcome, Shauna, Miranda. If you guys could give us a thumbs up. Looks like we already got a thumbs up here letting us know that you can hear and see okay. That would be helpful. Very good. Super crooked. That'll fix that. Okay. I think my plants are also crooked. I can probably fix this one. All right. Something like that. So welcome, everybody. All right, Aaron, Scarlett, Hunter, Cool Beans, Danielle, Glossy, Gabrielle, Glossy, Scorpio. Good to see you guys. We're going to give this a second for a few people to tune in. And Paulie's grabbing me a coffee because he's a saint. I have a cup here if you want to use this one, Paul. All right. So I just want to make a couple quick announcements before we go ahead and get started. We do have a free mini class just went up. Last night, I did old soul syndrome, how to know if you're an old soul, how to deal with a lot of the circumstances that come with that. It can be a really difficult experience for old souls here on this earth that can be so toxic. And we face a really different set of circumstances and trials than the average person does. And so old soul syndrome ended up being a great class, a lot of great conversation going on throughout. Thank you. But I noticed that a couple different people had said, you know, what do you do for your kids? Or I have a kid who is an old soul. And, you know, what do I need to know about that going forward? And so I decided to do Old Soul Syndrome Part 2. And so we're going to do how to raise an old soul. So keep a watch out for when. Date to be announced. I'll be doing a part 2 on that. If you guys missed Old Soul Syndrome last night, go into the playlist and it should pop right up as the last thing, I'm assuming, if I know how a playlist works. And I don't. So I'm just going to take a stab at that. Also, if you guys were interested in training in my psychic mediumship course here at the Ivy League Psychic Academy, we have it beginning for the fall semester September 6th. And we're about to open registration on August 22nd to those on the early bird wait list. If you're not on the early bird wait list, you do run the risk of not getting a seat. Classes are online and through video download, but it is limited seating still because I have to have assistant teachers and myself working with you hands-on. So if you wanted to be certain you could get your foot in the door, reserve a seat for yourself, go to psychicmediumshipcourse.com and get on that early bird wait list, because the very next day, August 23rd, it opens to the public. So if it even makes it that far, we will see that things fill quickly. And I think after that, if you can't make fall, I'll probably be doing spring, but we'll see. Okay. Now, we also have Reiki training coming up. For those of you who get hot hands, if your hands heat up and swell, turn red. If your feet heat up and swell, if you get numbness in your face, your mouth, weird tingling sensations, this is a sign that the Reiki energy or healing energy is trying to leave your body and go out to someone or some situation around you that desperately needs it. Okay, so signs like that can indicate that it's time for you to learn how to attune yourself to the energy and be trained properly in how to give it out. So Reiki training Saturday. Is it this Saturday?
Yeah.
This upcoming Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. If you want to join through Zoom with everybody else, or you can get the video download anytime to get Reiki certified in levels 1, 2, or masters. And we do them through different group exercises all at once. Okay, so that's going to be everybody. All right. It looks like we have a few people tuning in here. I want to ask everybody to give this video a thumbs up, please. Thank you so much. Please do subscribe. And if you want to become a member for behind the scenes extras, extra curriculum, direct spirit messages, your monthly horoscope, all kinds of things, you can hit the join button and look at the 3 tiers of membership. Paul, my adorable producer, how are you, Paulie?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
He's exhausted. He's lying.
Very much.
He's pretty much dead at this point. He's been working out in the sun all day. So, Paul, we are going to be respectful to Paul. We're not going to post our questions 5 trillion times, right? We're going to include names. He needs names of anyone you're referring to or asking to hear from on the other side. And he will be taking those questions as he sees fit. And we do very much appreciate him. Donations are also appreciated, not required, but appreciated. All right. And if we have questions coming in, I'm going to go ahead and do my intro. We good? All right, so you guys post your questions, psychic, mediumistic, empathic, whatever, spiritual development, paranormal, lost objects, love, money, anything goes. Welcome, everyone. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, a Taino Airwalk, and I own a school called the Ivy League Psychic Academy where I train people internationally in everything, ranging from psychic mediumship development to numerology, astrology, tarot, Reiki, paranormal, empathic awareness. We train children as well as adults, so we hope to see you for full classes at ivyleaguepsychicacademy.com. Here on YouTube, you can also catch our Sunday services for our church, Roots Revival Interfaith, focused on decolonizing spirituality and normalizing intuition. We also do weekly classes since the pandemic hit, called the Quarantine Series. And so if you go to the playlist, you could see over, I think, 50 at this point, free mini classes I've been putting out every week. This is my weekly Ask Ivy show where I take your personal questions. So feel free to start posting them in the comment section and we will try to get to as many as we can. What do we have?
All right. This first one's from Hunter.
Hunter?
Can anyone be a medium, or do I have the gift, and can I take the class?
It's not a gift. So you're smart to ask that. Anybody can be a medium because everybody is a medium. And what that really means is that spirit doesn't care whether you believe in them or not. They would prefer that you do. That would be nice because they want to carry on dialogue with you and they want to get healing messages out to the world through you. But a lot of people don't believe in mediumship, and that doesn't change the fact that it's real at all. It's irrelevant. So spirit will be drawn to and communicate with mediums that are properly trained in the lost language. So what we're going to focus on at class are your strengths. If you want to call them gifts, you could call them gifts. But in the language, there are certain natural abilities and talents that you'll have. And then there are other areas where you're probably not so good. And so we need to increase through a series of exercises and education how you can better communicate in those areas. And then we want to take your strengths and we want to really amp those up. So yes, absolutely hope to see you there.
Okay. This next one is from Erin.
Erin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you tell me when I'm going to have children?
Well, I think that what we want to look at is the kids' contracts, not yours. It never works when we decide we're going to have children. It has to really coincide with what they want. So I feel that there's a possibility of bringing one through about a year out from now, anywhere from 7 months to a year. I don't necessarily know that that's the best time. For you, that's up to you, of course. You have free will and dictate all of this. But I do think that there's a lot of interest from one of these children during that time. Then we look out about 2 years after that. There's another big time of interest. And then the following year, which could put them back to back and awfully close together. So for a while, yeah.
Okay. This one is from Cool Beans.
Cool Beans?
Yeah. What spirit is messing with my lights? All cleansing methods aren't stopping them.
I actually feel like a lot of this is you. So check out my empathic awareness training up on my website, where I talk about electric person syndrome at the 4th level of empathic ability. You're a level 4 empath. Your electric person syndrome is going to shut down computers. It's going to drain batteries. It's going to make light bulbs blow out. It's going to make lights flicker. It's also, you know, even when you're not necessarily upset or super excited, it affects things more than what we think it does. I also feel, though, like you do have some spirit activity attracted to you because you are a level 4 empath. So automatically, you know, we're going to see an increase in mediumistic abilities. And so it's not necessarily that what you're cleansing out is toxic and bad and attacking you. It's just that you attract spirits in general, and that will also mess with your electrical systems.
All right. This one is, excuse me, from Jan.
Jan?
My daughter Jenna wants to change jobs, but wonders if the new job would be a good fit for her.
I think that it will. I feel a passing off of hands going on with her. Is this Jan? I had a dream about this last night, Jan. So I actually woke up in a conversation with you about your daughter leaving a paycheck behind and being fearful about it. So there's your answer. I completely forgot about that until now. So I think that, and what Spirit had written here before you even asked your question was let it go. You know, she has some fear in her heart about change and transition, almost like she doesn't realize the kind of net that she has in life. You know, whether it be you, it be Spirit watching over her, an incredible skill set that she has and a lot of adaptability that she doesn't always utilize. I think that this transition is going to be good for her. I don't think it's the end all be all of everything. I think it's going to lead her into bigger things, including a lot of liberty with her schedule and an opportunity to spread her wings, be more in leadership and more creative down the road. So the next 2 years, we're going to see a lot of progression here. Well, that answers that dream. Interesting. Tell her I said congratulations.
This is from Danielle.
Danielle?
Does my Nana Ann know where my mom's ring is? It was hers, and my mom is so sad.
I feel like it would have been on a dresser in probably a box, looks like a jewelry box or some type of box. It feels to me like it would have fallen on the floor at some point, and it almost felt like it went under a bed or like in some blankets. And so I would check there. The other thing that I did see was that there was someone who may have had some interest in it. And so if you were keeping your eye on anyone with a lot of dominant energy or a male, I think we may also want to look there. But it seems that there were at least two times where it was out of place, and we would have seen these scenarios.
This is from Nicole.
Nicole
says, how do I deal with my son Aaron finding out about mental health diagnosis?
About his mental health diagnosis?
It sounds
okay. How do I handle Aaron finding out about a mental health diagnosis? Well, when I look at your son, I feel that he's a little bit detached. And what that can mean is that he's not quite as emotional or excessively logical about this, not to the extent that you are. And so I think an important approach to dealing with your son is to understand that he's on a different journey than you, and he thinks and feels and acts differently than you do. And so don't think of this situation as being like information that you're going to receive, an impact that it's going to have on your life. How would you react to it? Because that has nothing to do with anything. It's more like he is a bit easier in this, water off a duck's back. And I think that off like a Band-Aid is the best approach. Instead of acting like something's wrong, it's not wrong. It's okay. It's where we are. It's part of the journey. There's nothing to be upset about. So just say it. Okay.
This one is from John.
John.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should I sell or fix my truck?
Sell. This is not, who is that? Your grandpa, dad's side, this is not worth it. This is not worth it. I don't know what's going to happen because I have no mechanical skill, unfortunately, but I don't know what's going to happen with the engine after this, but there seems to be something under the hood that could also affect the right side. And so maybe lines or, just not. But if you were to like sell it as is, I feel that there's someone who might give you a higher price than even what you thought. I keep seeing the number 6, and I think that you just have to do things quickly. Okay, you don't hem and haw on this one for too long.
All right, just want to take a quick second here to thank donations. Donators, Alexia, Susanna, Elijah, Nicole, John, and our new member, Amanda.
Welcome, Amanda. Thank you, everybody, for the donations.
All right, speaking of Amanda, she had a question, too. Mm-hmm. Do you see anything positive in the near week for me?
I think that this upcoming week, I feel like I'm looking at Wednesday into Thursday, approximately. It seems like you're receiving some uplifting news. There also seems to be someone around you, whether this is like romantic interest, romantic partner. There seems to be an increase in love as well. And so that's bringing in some positive energy. But mostly with the news that I saw coming in, it may be that there's a change in your circumstance, or your circumstances are going to become more stable and you were hoping on some increase with that. This may also affect your finances.
Very cool. We have one from Bethany.
Bethany?
How do I open my throat chakra? I'm unusually terrified to have a meeting with my kid's principal to express some concerns. Her name is Katie, and I've been shut down by her in the past.
I think that what you're battling here is some past life issues. So we have to remember that when we're reborn into this life, if we have unfinished business, we carry it with us. And we have to be exposed repeatedly to trials and tests that allow us to overcome that fear. And I would look at it as an opportunity. Anytime you get afraid of something, you want to look at it as an opportunity to really like take the bull by the horns and conquer it, or they say like, look the dragon in the eyes, kiss the snake, whatever works for you. But I think that having a challenge like this should be seen as a blessing and not a curse, even if your knees are knocking and you're afraid and choked up to go in there and say your piece. That's irrelevant. It's the act of doing it and walking into the scenario and getting it out that counts. So forget about your feelings. This has been a common question lately. I don't know if a lot of people also in the comments, maybe you guys could help her out if a lot of people have been going through this lately. But I've gotten a lot of questions about this. Well, how do I overcome the way I feel? Forget your feelings. All I can tell you is that you have to ignore your emotion, because truth trumps everything. And if the truth is that this is something you're supposed to say and you are right in doing so, then you're going to have to tune out logic. You're going to have to tune out your feelings, and you're going to have to go forward. And that is bravery. And the more often you are brave, the more you complete that work from that past life and you take your power back.
This one is from Gabriel.
Gabriel?
I'm worried about my brother Michael. We're currently losing him to addiction, and I'm afraid our relationships with him are going to be tarnished this time. Anything I could do to save the relationship?
That's not your job. It's not your job to save the relationship. You're not his, you're not God. You're not his hero. You're not any of that. You're a person, and he's a person, and he's making terrible judgment calls on his life, and it's negatively affecting his relationships, and that's his journey, and he should suffer the consequences of it. So don't try to mask it. Don't be an enabler. Don't try to fake it. Be real, be raw, be honest. That's how you can save him. Let him know how toxic he is. We see this a lot in family systems, and we see that the person who has the addiction or the alcoholism, or they're abusive or whatever the problem is, we like to hide it. like to sugar it, and we'd like to all just sort of get along, until like Christmas dinner at the Thanksgiving table and things blow up. And it's not appropriate. That is a form of enabling. And so I think you need to be that leader in the family and be like, no, I'm going to be honest and raw about this. It's unacceptable. And, you can offer him any help and guidance that you can, within bounds, but ultimately you can lead a horse to water. You can't force it to drink, and you need to stand your ground and let him know that it's not something you approve of, and that toxic energy and behavior like that is not something you're going to be able to allow into your life. And that's hard to take that stand, but it's the honorable thing to do, and you'll feel much better about that. Will the relationships be bruised and bad? They already are. We're lying to say that they're not. They already are. Yeah.
Okay, we have one from Melanie.
Melanie?
People tell me that I speak things into existence. What is this called? I feel guilty. I feel like it's my fault when bad things happen to my friends that I had spoken into existence.
So manifestation and law of attraction are two things that are available to everyone. But if you are speaking negative things into existence, you would be well aware of it. So no one can accuse you of speaking some kind of curse or psychic attack or doing damage to someone without you being fully aware. If you have engaged in toxic dark arts or negative activity, that will be paid back onto you tenfold in your karma. So I wouldn't even worry about it. It's coming to you. If you did not do these things and someone is wrongfully accusing you of that, and you know your heart, that's all you need to know. Stay in a place of purity. And if someone accused you of that, that's not your friend, and they're misunderstanding greatly. You can talk about anything. You can think about anything. We don't have to live in a place of fear. That doesn't mean we're going to create it. It can also mean that you're psychic and you're predicting that these things are going to happen before they happen. That doesn't mean you caused them to happen. It just means you knew they were going to happen. Okay. So sometimes when it's a series of bad things, we call that messenger of death syndrome. It doesn't have to be death. God bless you. It doesn't have to be death exclusively, but it could be any uncomfortable or what may seem negative, or painful experiences that could come through circumstances or others around us, and we see it ahead of time.
Okay. We have one from Anita.
Okay.
Do my spirit guides have any messages for me? Is my shadow work preventing me from hearing them myself?
Well, shadow work will certainly do that. I just did an interview about an hour ago with Find Your ID NYC. If you guys didn't get to check it out, you can go onto their YouTube. Paul could put that in the comments. And we were talking about shadow work. We were talking about how shadow work can bring your life down if you're not doing it, because it clouds your discernment. And once your discernment is clouded, you do run the risk of having paranormal activity and a lot of other karmic issues. And so it can absolutely, straight out of the gate, block your ability to connect with spirit. Now, does that mean that spirit has abandoned you? No, but spirit has to abide by the laws of the light. And the law of the light says that they can't be reaching out to you unless it's beneficial to you, unless it is going to help you on your healing process, on your journey of growth in life. And if they're coming to you and enabling you, because you're not taking responsibility, accountability, doing the shadow work, doing the ego work, then they're not going to cross that boundary. So it will create a disconnect. Go into the class playlist here on YouTube and look up shadow work, part 1, 2, and 3. And go into the Roots Revival Interfaith Church playlist and look up shadow work parts 1 and 2.
This is from Morgan.
Morgan?
My brother Daniel has night terrors that makes him sleepwalk. Is there a spiritual reason behind it?
I think he does a lot of astral travel. I think that he's highly intuitive. He seems to be able to tap in mentally. It's almost like this neurological thing with him, into different frequencies, and so go to different planes, we would say. And this type of travel is not uncommon, but it's not commonly discussed outside of, like, psychology and the medical field, and thinking that it's some type of a disorder of some sort. And while that may come up for him, I think that really what we always need to look at is the energy behind it. And so how is this coming from a place of travel? How is this helping to connect to the right side of his brain intuitively? And how does that make him susceptible to things like night terrors, paranormal, experiences, negative spirits who want to feed off of that fear-based energy? And so it does really open him up to many, many different things that could ultimately be bettered, in the house, if mom were to train and then, train him and help him in things like discernment, in lucid dreaming techniques, in how to properly cleanse a house and grid a space like his bedroom. All of these things are classes that are available up on my website. So I would start there. Okay.
This last one is from Ashley.
Ashley?
Who will be coming into my love life next?
This person actually comes from your past, and so it's possible that they were already here in this life, but I was feeling more past life connection. I think this individual carries a lot of interest for you in regards to like passion and a connectivity that's based on familiarity. So it's like, I've known you forever. That's exciting in itself. There's a certain comfort level there. There's a lot of humor, but I do feel that this individual also carries karmic lessons. And so that means you don't want to put your heart on your sleeve, and you would reach a point within the first couple months where you want to just put your heart out on the table and be like, yeah, but this feels really great. I'd be careful with that. Don't forget, this is still going to be about lessons. So you can engage with those people and certainly enjoy them, but you don't want to completely dive in, and you want to remember to keep your cards close to your vest, so that when it is time to exit, you can do that in a clean cut way. Okay, good. Well, everybody, it was a pleasure. I will see you next week at we're still on summertime. Next week I'm off. Yeah. I'm taking next week off, people. So I will be napping. And I will see you, I guess, the following week. In the meantime, if you did not check it out, check out Old Soul Syndrome, the class that we put up last night. And if you think you have a child who has an old soul, I will be doing a part 2, how to raise an old soul, coming up soon to be announced. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
Thanks for the donations, everybody. Have a great night, all. Thanks, Spirit.